Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Today we are comparing and contrasting stories. So far, we've only been comparing. So today, listen really closely as we start on contrasting. Now, this is a Venn diagram. You might have seen these before. What it shows you is the things that are different and the things that are the same. So where two topics overlap right here in the middle, it shows you what's the same. At the top, you can see what our topics are. So on the left, they have whales. On the right, they have fish. And then in the middle, they talk about what is the same about whales and fish. They can both swim. They both live in water and they both have fins. These are all the things that are the same. Out here are the things that are different. So these are the things that are only true for fish. They have scales, they lay eggs, they breathe water. And then these are the things that are only true for whales. So it would be different, different, the same. So the things that are the same go in the middle. This is where we're comparing. Remember, when we're comparing, we find what is the same. This would be a contrasting side, and this would be a contrasting side. Now, I find it's very hard to type into a circle, especially when we're doing full sentences, since we're big third graders. So what I decided to do was to create rectangles. So this would be something where we put only information for my rotten redheaded older brother. This is where the box where we put only information for some birthday. And then in the middle is where we're going to put things that are the same about both books. So we are going to compare them. I've already started here. And what I decided to do was to think about the characters in these books. In My Rotten Redheaded Older Brother, there are 3 characters. Patricia, in that book, she goes by Trish. Their grandmother, who in this book goes by Babushka or Bubby. And then Richie, Richard. So I know that all 3 of these characters are in My Rotten Redheaded Older Brother. Then I think about Some Birthday. It has those 3 characters, but it also has their dad and some others. And so in the middle, I put the overlapping characters, Patricia, the grandmother, and Richie. Then on this side, I put that dad was in Some Birthday. Okay? I know that in both books, Patricia was upset about something. So this is where I start thinking about the plot. The plot is what happens in the story. So I'm thinking Patricia was upset about something, but she was not upset about the same thing in both books. So I know there's a problem. The problem was that she was upset. But now I can go into each category and talk about why she was upset. Patricia was upset because her brother was always beating her in My Rotten Redheaded Older Brother. That was the problem in that book. Now I think about the problem in Some Birthday. Patricia was upset because they had forgotten her birthday. Okay, so what's the same? Patricia was upset. But what's different is what she was upset about. So then we go into each category and we say what she was upset about. Next, I know that in both books, something exciting happens. We call this the climax. So we've got the problem and it's leading up to the climax. It's leading up to that solution. And then when we get past the exciting moment is when we find our solution. So something exciting happens, but it's not the same thing in both books. So once again, I go into each category. The thing that happened exciting in My Rotten Redheaded Older Brother was that she falls and hits her head. That's that big moment where she's riding that merry-go-round over and over and over, and she falls off, and she gets off, she gets dizzy, and she falls and hits her head. That's the most exciting part. Now I think about the most exciting part in Some Birthday. It was when the monster jumps out to scare them. And they run home. Okay, so something exciting happened in both books, but what that was different for each book. Now, I know the problem in both books is solved, and it shows Patricia that her family really loves her. That's what she learns. But the solution is different in both of the books. In My Rotten Redheaded Older Brother, Richie takes care of her, and that shows her that her family loves her. In Some Birthday, everyone surprises her with a birthday celebration back at the house, and that shows us that her family loves her. So do you see how in the middle we've got all the things that are the same? It's okay if this is pretty general, right? This sentence is not very specific. Something exciting happens. That's not very specific. I can be more specific when I am contrasting, okay? So now I take another look at this anchor chart. I'm looking at these comparing and contrasting words and sentence frames, and I feel like you're pretty used to the comparing words. So today we're going to read through the contrast. Okay, so read this aloud as I point to it also. Contrast. That means to find what is different. So read along with me. Different from, difference, other, unlike, however, on the other hand, although, and but. Okay, and we've got these sentence frames. A difference between the text is blank, or blank is different from blank. This is where we would put our titles. Blank is different from blank because blank. Okay, so we're going to compare. We're going to use a sentence for comparing, and then we're going to use a sentence for contrasting. So this is my comparison. In both texts, blank. So you might be even more specific, and you might say, instead of saying in both texts, in My Rotten Redheaded Older Brother and in Some Birthday, Patricia learns that her family truly cares about her. That's a full sentence that tells us something that is the same. Now we're going to contrast. We're using one of those sentence frames. Blank is different from blank because blank. Notice my answer is much longer here than it was for comparing because I need to give a lot more information. So I said, My Rotten Redheaded Older Brother is different from Some Birthday because the problems were not the same. Now I want to be more specific. In My Rotten Redheaded Older Brother, Trish is frustrated at Richie. In Some Birthday, Patricia is frustrated with her dad. So I went in and I told you exactly what was different from the two stories. Okay? So pay attention as we read a new book today. It's sorry, I mixed up my days. Pay attention as we finish Meteor tomorrow, and we are going to see what we can compare and contrast. Thanks for listening.